Hi, good day everyone. I hope all is well with you and your family as it is with mine. So I wanted to do a new video. All right, this one's a little bit heavy. This video that I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to make some commentary on it. It's just basically about children that are unfortunately abused at school. All right. So, as parents, of course, our children's education is important to us. And for parents who do have their children going into schools, you would hope that that's not something that you would ever want to deal with your child or children being abused by a teacher, or because when you send your child to school, you would hope, God forbid, if something were to happen, that you would have at least something would be reported or told to you by staff, right? Because most people within the school system, they are mandated reporters, right? So I wanted to just share this video with you. I'm going to make some comments here and there, and let me just do a side by side, switch it up.
I'm down from Fox. We're here today, as you all know, we charged earlier today 20 individuals who worked at the Chester Community Charter School with child abuse. 9 of the individuals actually, according to the surveillance videos we've reviewed, actually laid their hands on children and abused them physically. 11 other individuals who are sort of different roles in the school turned their backs and looked the other way, or in fact, oftentimes looked right at the abuse happening and failed to report it. So they are charged with failure to report. All of these employees, all 20 people, have a duty under Pennsylvania law to report instances of child abuse. They are mandated to report that by law. So by not reporting it, they violated the law. We've also charged those 11 individuals who witnessed this without doing anything with endangering the welfare of those children. But there are 9 individuals who we have surveillance videos that I've watched of them putting their hands on these children, some as young as 5. These are K to 5 years grades, and these are children who are in the emotional support program.
So he stated that these are children from the ages 5 K to 5th grade, I believe, and they're children with emotional support needs. Okay, I wanted to point that out as well. So out of the 29 were abusers and 11 were pretty much enablers. They were just worried about their paycheck and paying their bills. That's how I see it. They weren't really there for the kids. All right. And those who abuse the kids, if you're dealing with children with who need emotional support needs and you can't handle it, dealing with that type of population of children, don't go into it. Don't go into it at all. That's just how I see it.
And so in the surveillance videos, you can see them doing pressure point holds on the child's shoulder, causing them pain. You can see them grabbing their hands and putting them in front of them to restrain them. And oftentimes you can see them then using their knee to take the child to the ground. And at least one incident I saw them jack a kid up against the wall. This is just unacceptable behavior to happen anywhere, particularly in a school setting for children who are supposed to be getting emotional support. So we are thankful that the Chester Township Police, as soon as this came to light, Officer Strofe and Detective Mullen, working with our office, my Deputy District Attorney, Kristen Kemp, have investigated this matter. It's still an ongoing investigation, but we've charged these individuals and we're moving forward, and I assume you all might have some questions.
You talk about the emotional support program, first of all, so we understand that these kids are supposed to be getting help with their emotions and they're getting attacked in the class?
Exactly right. I mean, my understanding is these are children who it's been identified that they need more help at that age, at a very tender age, K to 5 grades we're talking about here. And so these people are supposed to be giving them extra support as they're trying to learn in school. And instead, oftentimes, they're just either intimidating them physically and then laying hands on them. It's very disturbing to see the surveillance videos.
Jack, could you tell us the relationship between the contractor and the school and who was involved there, and are they just as culpable as the school or vice versa?
My understanding, and again, this is a continuing investigation, is that most of these, if not all of these employees, I don't think all of them, but most of them were contracted through this organization, Peak Performance. Thank you. They're supposed to be keeping records, they're supposed to be training, and they've told the school that they were doing all of that. The law enforcement investigation is finding that out to not be true, that they haven't trained these people in the proper way to restrain a child, if you have to restrain a child. And
so these teachers, I presume, were subcontracted to work for this particular charter school, and they were not trained to work with the population of children who need emotional support. or being trained in how to properly restrain. So also it was stated that this was seen on surveillance cameras. So thank goodness that there were cameras. And I wonder if they even knew that there were cameras, because sometimes people know that things are being videotaped, but they don't think that, or they try to do things slick. But I know he also mentioned that there was a video of them actually lifting up a child up in the air, up against the wall, I believe, or something like that. So it's just heart-wrenching to hear that type of news. I'm going to continue the video.
And the school is under an obligation, I think you see it in the complaint, that if a child is restrained at any time, that has to be reported by the state. So I think there are some issues here for both the school and certainly for this company that was providing some of these employees, because the school wasn't looking at their own surveillance video.
Jack, the affidavit describes this as...
They weren't looking at their own surveillance video.
Erratic, it was an incidental. This was something that was known about that people ignored or participated in. Is your office investigating the rest of that school just to make sure that this isn't taking place anywhere else?
Yeah, great question. So we are, as I mentioned, Alex, it's a continuing investigation. If you see from the complaint, most of the incidents that we've charged happened between November and December of last year. We're still looking at video. So there will be more work being done by these great officers from Chester Township who picked up the cudgel when we first got complaints in the door. They have been investigating this nonstop. But Chief Colson, who I spoke to this morning, is absolutely committed to continuing the investigation. And if there are more charges warranted, we're going to bring them.
Do you think that there are more victims out there? And if so, what's your message to these parents?
I can't tell you how many
Of
more
course
people.
there's more
26
victims.
children have been identified as people who are victims already. We also know that some young people witnessed these things happening and may not have been actually victimized themselves. That's another form of victimization. I think, again, to Alex's point, this is a systemic problem in the school where these kids in this program were living in fear, a lot of them. So if there are more victims, we would love for their parents to come forward.
Of course there's more victims. And the reason why I say that, because when other children who weren't the ones physically being abused witness other children being abused, that's a form of emotional abuse in itself.
It probably took a lot of courage for these young children to tell their parents what was happening in school and why they were afraid to go back to school. But as we're interviewing these children, we're getting the stories. And if there are more people and more children who want to come forward, we are here for them, as are the Chester Township Police.
Have the victims' families seen these videos, and just your thought as a human being watching these?
Yeah, I don't think that they've seen the videos. As a parent,
I don't think I've
I'm really
really seen those
disturbed.
videos,
To think that when you send your child to school, that somebody who is being paid to take care of your child is actually hurting them is just frightening. Just as a human being, it's awful.
Getting paid isn't enough to do a job. Like, your heart has to really be in it, okay? Because as we see, the enablers were just there pretty much for a paycheck. They weren't really there for these kids. Let me just do my time Monday through Friday, the 9 to 5 rut. I got bills to pay. I got things to do. I didn't see nothing. I don't got time for that. I'm not going to rock the boat. Yada, yada. But now what has happened, as being an enabler and not being a mandated reporter like you're supposed to be, now what's happening is you got felony charges. There it go. There it goes.
To watch these grown people, the way they're treating these young kids. And you can just imagine what
They're
this is going to be like for the
defenseless. You're
children
talking
going
about
forward.
kindergarten
This is
to
just
fifth
not
grade.
the way we're supposed to treat young people, particularly in a school setting. It's been a complete failure. And I'm outraged by it. Talking again to Chief Colson this morning, he hasn't seen anything like this either for a long time in his career. And so that's why we want to make sure that we brought the charges as quickly as possible, but also to continue the investigation to make sure that we've stopped it.
And Jack, 20 individuals, 26 students. Have you seen a case like this where this many people are involved?
Not like this. And again, one of the more disturbing things is how there are people sitting there watching it happen. Sitting in the teacher's desk watching these kids get abused. And the surveillance video doesn't have audio, but you can see from most of these attacks, these children are just sitting there. And an adult comes over and starts pinching their shoulder till they're writhing in pain, and then putting them in restraints, and then picking them up. Meanwhile, there's an adult just sitting there watching it all happen. I'm as outraged by that.
All right, that's enough for me. That's so much I can take. If you want to watch it, just go to 20 school workers charged in child abuse case live now from Fox on YouTube. So I wanted to share this video and make, and do a commentary on it because, as you know, I homeschool my boys, for those of you who don't know. And I wish I did it when they were like, kindergarten, very, very much younger. But I started homeschooling them as young as second, third grade. pretty much my youngest one, yeah, so he's been pretty much homeschooled most of his life, school life, which is good, I guess, right? So anyway, I wanted to share this video because it's sad that you have children, you know, as a parent, you send your child to school, they're being abused, right? And for those parents who are thinking or on the fence about homeschooling their child, and you think you're going to be putting your kid in a setting where there'll be other adults, that would be mandated reporters or tell you what's going on, and you're counting on another eye. Like there's plenty eyes going on, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, you have enablers that their heart is really not into it. Their heart isn't into teaching your child like you, and loving your child like you as a parent, you love your child, right? So there's, you know, homeschooling has been growing, and it will continue to grow. And some of the main things that are concerning to parents about homeschooling is the myth that, oh, you know, how does your child socialize? You tell me you're going to socialize your child in a setting that is toxic, where they may witness abuse happening, and seeing other adults do nothing about it and not wanting to go to school. Please, parents, talk to your kids, sit down with them, ask them what's going on in school, ask them if have incidences ever happened with teachers, with other students, or they've witnessed other things happen to other kids. If you have your child saying, oh, I don't feel like going to school today, you know, I don't feel well, they're always not feeling well, or they're making excuses not going into school, you know, maybe definitely take a look into that. And really, if you are on the fence about homeschooling and you would like to get more information about it, you can definitely connect with me. I'll be more than happy. Definitely check out our website, or my website at stepstohomeschooling.com, where there's plenty of information. I have an online course guide to get you started answering all your questions, debunking all the myths, all your concerns about homeschooling, and it's very, very thorough, giving you information if and when you decide to go that route, or if you know anyone that is thinking about it, has been on the fence about it, you can definitely connect them as well with that information. You want to have peace of mind about where your child is learning. They're there to learn. They're not there to be abused. It's sad that this is huge. This is like 26 children. This is big. And you have 20 people with felony charges. If this is happening in one place and they have surveillance, they weren't even checking on it, I can't even imagine other schools, right? So it's unfortunate that, you know, the school system is failing our children academically, but also physically and emotionally, which is really sad. Now, abuse can take place anywhere. It can be taking place within the home as well, right? Unfortunately. But for parents who love their children, who are emotionally sound and want the best for their kid, and I would say, you know, definitely consider and think about what is the right fit for yourself and your child. I know some parents are working full time and they'd like to do it, but they're saying, how can I do it? Or I don't have the patience to do homeschooling myself, and so on and so forth. Homeschooling doesn't have to be the traditional, I'm the teacher as a parent and I'm teaching my kid everything. No, with technology, with homeschool groups, there's so many online schools, there's so many options, private tutoring, there's so many different options that can fit for you and your family. It doesn't have to be expensive as well, all right? So I wanted to share this video with you all. It's sad, it's a little bit more heavy, but this is the reality of what happens, unfortunately, right? And it's something that, you know, to think about, and to, if your child is in school, to sit down and have a conversation with them about how are things going, you know, so on and so forth. And unfortunately, these are children who needs emotional support, and they're the ones that are getting abused, which is really, really sad. Well, that's all I really have to say about this topic in this video. All right, until next time, take care and God bless.